Hoi hoi folks, good morning, good afternoon and good evening wherever you are in the world. My name's Sean, aka Uncle Frogface, and welcome to today's video. If you're new here, then welcome. If you're not new, then welcome back. It's Friday, it's craft day, and I have a little kit to work on today. So you may have noticed, if you've seen several of my videos, that my desk is getting messier and messier, and partly down to paint and other things and inks and all sorts on the desk. Partly it's just down to kind of rings from my cups where I've put teacups down just straight on the desk. So I have got something that hopefully will help solve that, and I'm going to preface this by I'm shaking it around. I'm going to preface this by saying this was a very cheap kit. It's a HobbyCraft kit. I'm interested just to see what's inside, but also how good the instructions are, because we know that has been an issue with HobbyCraft in the past. So let me turn the camera around, let's get set up, and of course I need to make myself a cup of tea to get ready, and we can get cracking with this Mosaic coaster kit. And here we are. So this is the kit that I chose. They actually had several different designs, but I thought this one would look nice in this office. Plus, my mother-in-law, when she was a teacher, her class was the Dragonfly class, so I kind of felt like this was a nice fitting design to be using. So I've got this kit. I've also got to the side, let's have a look at the instructions. Protective gloves are recommended. Apply. Okay, so that's just actually saying what to do. It doesn't say that I need anything else, but I'm assuming this is going to be a powder grout in here. So I do have a little container and some water to mix up grout. Also, of course, have my cup of tea, and I have my scented candle as well. This one's slowly burning down. Don't know how many hours is in that candle, but it's doing really, really well. I'll have to invest in a new one soon. Right, so let's open this up and take a look inside. So mosaic making obviously is an ancient art and craft technique. Romans used it. It's been used for centuries before that as well. You can do it with tiles, with wood, with glass, with all sorts. You know, let's get the big scissors out and cut this one open. So I have done a little bit of mosaic work actually. I did some when I was at school, doing my GCSE in art, which I failed. Well, I didn't fail, I didn't get a great mark. But we were each given a board, kind of A4 size, and we had to make our own tiles out of clay that had been fired, and then we spray painted them in lots of different colours and then stuck them down. So it was a really cost effective way of doing a design, and there were a few of us that did it, and all of our kind of pieces went together to make one large picture. Okay, is that right? I think the instructions are very limited on this, so let's have a look. Yeah, that's the instruction. So we have, yep, that is a powder grout. These are the tiles, which I want to say are plastic. I think they're extruded plastic tiles. Be interesting because there are some tiles on here that have been cut, and I don't think it says anything about cutting tiles. So I wonder if there are some in here that are different shaped to fit those areas. This is an adhesive pad, and this is the, oh okay, this is the base that actually gives you the little motif on there. Right, I am going to take a second and read the instructions. I will be right back. Right, so yes, the instructions are very limited, and it's literally 6 steps and not much more guidance than that. So basically it says, apply the adhesive liner to this, peel off the upper liner, and then I think this is like a see-through sticky pad basically that goes on here. Stick the tiles on, grout in the middle, leave to dry. That's pretty much all of the instructions. So let's start with this piece. So it says, apply the adhesive liner to the screened wooden plaque. So So that side is sticky, so let's peel off that bit. So this is basically a big square of double-sided tape. Let's see if I can get this lined up nicely. Okay, I've given it just a tiny bit of a trim, and now we peel off the backing, and that should leave us with a clear but sticky surface. There we are. Right, now it says use the tiles and stick them to this to make this design. So let's line it out so it's the same way. I'm going to pour these out, and I'm going to see, because there are definitely tiles here that have been cut, whether there actually are cut tiles in here or not, because I don't think there are. Let's spread them out and see. Yeah, there are definitely not cut tiles in here, and I am wondering whether I can cut these with a pair of scissors. I'm gonna say, don't try this at home. Let's see. Nope. Oh, absolutely not. That's not going to cut, which means I actually can't do the design that's on here. Look, we've got cut tiles, cut tiles, cut tiles, cut tiles here and here as well. You know what? I'm actually going to pause here. Whilst I do, why don't you go down below, hit the subscribe button, like this video if you want to, and I am going to go and get a craft knife and see whether I can use my cutting board to actually cut some of these pieces. It doesn't say anything in the instructions about cutting pieces to fit the pattern, which I'm a little bit upset about, because without doing that you can't make this pattern. So once again, good job, HobbyCraft's. Right, I'll be back in just a minute. So I think I've come up with a solution. I have been able to cut one of the tiles there. I don't know how easily you can see that. There we are. Been able to cut one of them. I didn't go and get a knife. I ended up just using these snippers, which are from my 3D printer, just plastic snippers. The issue is, when I cut them, one piece wants to go pa-tung and fling off somewhere. So I think what I'm going to have to do is line up what I want to cut, hold it in my hand, and again, there we go. So that one did cut, not very evenly, but it did cut. So I'm getting some smaller pieces. This is definitely going to be a process. Come back to me when I've got the pieces cut that I need. Right, so I've got a few bits cut over here, which I think are the bits I need to actually make the dragonfly itself. So let's start there. We've got our reference picture, which the colours don't match the tiles that we've got, but that's again, it is what it is. So I'm going to start with these little deedly boppers, these little antenna bits. This is, I don't feel like these are sticking down particularly easily or well, and I'm slightly concerned with this that we're going to be grouting over the top of sticky back plastic, and whether that's actually going to do anything at all. Oh, I'm missing a purple piece. Let me just cut down one of these. So what I've done to try and help this, I've got this, and then I've just got a cloth, and I'm holding it. Oh, actually, I have it. I have a piece there. There we are. I did cut them. They were just stuck in the cloth. But yeah, I'm gripping it like this, holding it in the cloth, clamping down, and then it cuts it, and I don't lose the pieces, unless of course they stick inside the microfiber cloth. But yes, as I was saying, I am concerned about this. This was the better, or at least better looking, of the craft kits that I got from HobbyCraft today. There are actually some that I got specifically because the instructions looked terrible, and just to see if it could actually be done with the instructions that were given. Right, so I think we're getting there think that's the head, isn't it? Yeah, that'll work. Right, then let's follow this nice and precisely. There, so I just need to go through and fill in the rest of this. So let me do the wings and then I'll come back and we can start filling in everything else. Right, well, this is where we are now, and this took a lot more cutting than I was expecting. I mean, in fact, if I didn't have these snips, I don't know whether I would be able to do this craft kit, which is slightly frustrating, particularly as it doesn't say anywhere on here that pieces need to be cut, even though clearly pieces need to be cut. Feel myself getting heated. Let's have a sip of tea. Right, so now we need to go around and I'm going to fill in the border, and I'm hoping that with the right spacing there is enough space on here and that this is correct, because this grid is fairly important for making sure we've got all of the pieces in. So let us start. I found, because I get kind of sweaty hands, it's I can almost just pick them up with my fingertip and place them down. Again, I'm still incredibly concerned that this is not going to grout properly because of the sticky back plastic, but I'm blind faith that is what we have right now. So let's do a little time lapse of all of these pieces going in, and hopefully it matches up with the pattern that is on the instructions over here. Right, so we've got all of the border in now, and now I have a lot of white pieces down here, plus a few other colours as well. We need to fill in the rest of this. So I'm going to go in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and fill in all of the full squares first. I'm going to get all of that done, and then I'll come back and fill in all the gaps with the bits that need to be cut, because that takes the most time. So it's time to get sticking. Right, so that actually didn't take too long to get that done, but now I've got to go and cut up all of these white ones and fill in all of these little gaps around here. So I'm not too worried about following the pattern on this. I'm literally going to cut them in halves and slivers and fit them in where they need to be fit. So bear with me just a second and I'll come back to you once that is done. Okay, right, so we do have a lot of leftover plastic tiles, which I'm just going to scooch off the edge of the desk into my hand, drop some on the floor, and pop over here to the side. Right, now comes the interesting part, and the part that honestly I'm not sure whether it's actually going to work. So we've got this grout, well that when the zip on your Ziploc bag is stronger than the bag itself. Right, so here we are. So double bagged because it's powder. Here we are, and I'm going to pour this into this container over here. And again, nearly tore the bag open with that. So I don't know whether they've given us the correct amount or whether they've given us extra, so we've got a surplus amount or anything. But what we're going to do as it says, so powder in pot, add water and stir, and I'm just going to go a little bit at a time so that we get a paste at first, and then we can start loosening that paste up. Actually, I think I might have just got it spot on the amount of water that's needed. It feels like double cream. I think is a good, like whipped double cream. I think it's a good consistency. Right, I'm going to give this a really good thorough stir so we don't have any lumps or anything in here. I'm actually going to use my cutting mat for this. Try and save the desk a little bit. Here we are. It's been stirred really nicely, and now I'm going to put this on and spread it over and really work it into all of the grooves. I'm going to come in with my fingers as well. I'm going to say there's definitely more than is needed on here. I think a tile just came up. No, it's fine. I thought one of the tiles had come up. It hasn't. There we go. Let's get this nice and covered and filled in. That might be a tile that's come up. Right, so I think that is in pretty much all of the grooves, so we'll go over again. And then what I'm also going to do is rub it all down the edges, because I want to get this nice and sealed. As I said, I'm not exactly confident that this is going to all stick together, because we're sticking bits of plastic with grout onto a bit of sticky back plastic. So there's no actual connection really between the grout and the wooden base. So I can feel it's starting to get firmer. So it's starting to go off, which is good. That's what we want. It'll make it easier to work with. Right, let's come back once this has all been finished. Right, grouting is done. There is a lot of excess grout here, which is absolutely fine. I probably should have just mixed up half of that, to be honest. But this is all now set to dry, so it says to leave it for 45 minutes. So I'm going to get a timer set up, leave this for 45 minutes, and when we come back, it'll be the last little thing, which is to give this a little bit of a wipe off, and then we'll be done. So join me in just a second as we finish this, well, second for you, 45 minutes for me, as we finish up this piece. Okay, so it's been about 45 minutes now. You can see I went all around the edges with grout, which has already chipped off in a couple of places, so I'm not overly confident that this is going to stay together in the long run. However, it's time for the last bit, which is to take a cloth, get it slightly damp, and then go over and remove the grout on top. And the easiest way to do this is just with little circles like this. There we go, and you can see the tiles starting to come through. So I'm going to clean this all up, and I'll be back in just a second. There we go, just like that, a couple of passes with a damp cloth, and this is what we're left with. So I'm going to give this, I think it says 24 hours to let it fully dry. So this is going to go over it in the corner and just let it set and do its thing. But this has confirmed a couple of things for me. So firstly, I quite enjoy doing mosaics. It's been a very long time since I've done this, and it's something I might return to, maybe with a larger project if you guys are interested. Second thing it's confirmed to me is that HobbyCraft instructions and kits are not always to be believed. So yes, let's take a look at the cover picture for the item and then the finished item, so you can quite clearly see there is a colour difference. I think this is mainly down to a bad picture on this, honestly. Also, looking closely at this, particularly at some of the cut edges on the tiles, I have a feeling that this was done much larger with actual ceramic tiles, not the plastic ones that are in here. And obviously the instructions just not good. I mean, there are a few things on here fine that kind of guide you through, but in terms of kind of the cutting and all of that, it's very misleading. So yeah, if this is a beginner one for you, please be warned that you will need something to cut the tiles. They are plastic, and these snips did wonders for me. We do have a lot of tiles left over though, so at least they're giving you more than you need, just in case you lose some or you run out. But yeah, that is it for today. Hopefully this will save my desk from becoming any more of a disaster than it already is, and hopefully you'll see this in future videos tucked over in the corner with, of course, a nice cup of tea on it. As always, I really hope you've enjoyed today's video, and until next time, goodbye.